name's Andron. Obviously, I'm the editor of Bombchu right now, and just to repeat, the stuff that I said or pantomimed, so to say there. So what we do, usually what we're doing today is just a Bombchu Holiday chat. Just gonna shoot some shit. You could drink some eggnog. Drink whatever you got around the house, and we got a nice fire over there. I poked Austin's head, but there's a fire beside Austin on the screen, and so I got myself some coffee because I don't drink, but I'll be nice and hyper for the chat. But we're just not going to be doing like the top 10 this year. We've done it a few times, and everybody does a top 10. So instead, we're going to have a nice, hangout chat and just discuss a bit. And so before we continue, you may be seeing our faces, at least two of our faces for the first time, possibly. So this is Andron. I'm one of the editors. Austin, if you want to say hi, you already know Austin, but say hi there, buddy. And then,
Hello.
Of course, we got Chris joining us, our other amazing partner here. Chris, if you want to say hi.
Hello, everybody.
All right. And like I said, we're just going to be talking a lot about different things. And first, just to get things off, we're just going to discuss a bit about how this year went. And so it's been a tough year for everybody, I'm sure. So, I mean, that's one of the bigger things. And we're going to just not going to go too deep into, like, any tragedies or anything like that. We're going to just talk more about, some of the good things that happened, some of the changes, whatever we want to discuss. And so I'll kick things off. My biggest thing that happened is I went vegetarian this year. Austin may not know that. Chris may not know that. But surprise, yeah, I did go vegetarian. And it followed that movie, Super Size Me 2, where they showed every little baby chicken being farmed and in like 3 weeks being eaten. I was like, nah, I can't do that, man. That was the end of me on chicken. That was the only thing that was holding me back. So after that, I was like, you know what, let me try some of this substitute food, and it's been pretty good. Like I think, Austin, you tried like that Impossible Whopper, right, like a while back. For that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's almost at the point. My only holdback really was the taste, and now it tastes very similar. So I'm like, I guess I'll just do it. So that's my big change there. Yeah. What's up?
Have you tried the buffalo cauliflower?
I have not, because I hate
have?
cauliflower, which isn't good. But
I'm usually not into it either. But it's when you put it in batter and fry it and put some wing sauce on
good,
there.
actually. Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Sounds pretty good.
It tastes a lot like a wing.
Dang. That actually sounds pretty good because they have like a lot of the vegan substitute recipes where they're purely vegetables, or like go grill a whole eggplant and put it in the oven and that's your turkey for Thanksgiving. I was like, I ain't doing that. So I've been finding ways around that. Like we did a lasagna this year for Thanksgiving with like pure non like vegan stuff for that part because my girlfriend's vegan, but. Very much. It's been a challenge though. They got some new chicken stuff out there. I was like, man, I gotta get me some chicken. So it's been a challenge, but that's really the biggest, I think, major life change this year that has been affecting me, mentally and whatever else you want to call it. But it's been that, and then of course work. But I'm not gonna talk about work because work gets me depressed. So I'm talk about work for now. It does get me depressed. It just gets me not wanting to go to work. That's the best way to put it there. So that's my big, share for the year, I guess. And hopefully it continues to New Year's, but I guess we'll see. So Chris, anything, that major change, maybe something like that that you have on your plate?
Not really. It's mostly been a year of trying to keep things steady. And I've been doing all right on that front.
Yeah.
Obviously, dealing with the whole pandemic thing was not easy for anybody, but especially being in a rather uneducated part of the Midwest did not help. Certainly made things harder than they needed to be, but overall, not terrible.
I tell you what, we went to Walmart quite a few times, and the number of people, and not going to go too deep into it, but the number of people with kids without masks on, and then them without masks on, and then their grandpas too. I was like, come on, guys.
Yep.
What are you up to over here? And that's Texas for you, though. I don't know what else to say, but that's Texas for you. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Can I bust in here with a quick Bombchu story about Walmart? Andrew, I think you remember this one. Chris, you've probably heard this one before. It was when we were filming our very first episode of Super Sunday.
Yeah. I think I do remember. Keep going.
I don't think I've heard this.
So it's not technically the first episode of Super Sunday, but it was a Super Nintendo game. It's the Sanrio World Smash Ball video that we did. Our first video that we ever made for the channel. And we get everything set up, and I'm missing like one specific cord that I thought I had and that I need. And I can't, I'm looking all over Andron's place to find a replacement. Can't find anything anywhere. So we go to Walmart and we're looking for this cable. Oops, I had my phone on the table. That's stupid.
Your phone.
Sorry about that. Anyways, we go to Walmart. We find this cable. Like, I'm in a mood. We go to check out. And as we're leaving the checkout line, this Walmart employee just looks at me really slowly and just goes, "Wait," very casually, and barely stops me from stepping into human poop that is just in the middle of the floor. Literally. Like, he was just so casual about it. No one was coming around to clean it. They didn't have any cones or anything. It was just somebody had just been walking and just let it fall down their pant leg or something, and then somebody discovered it. Was just like, hey, maybe you don't want to step in that, I guess.
Prices aren't the only thing dropping over at Walmart, right?
So yeah, anytime somebody says dumb people at Walmart, that's what I think.
I've unfortunately seen more than one video of that happening before. Just never thought that would be something somebody would ever see in real life.
Wait.
Not the first time I dealt with somebody pooping and letting it just fall down their pants.
At Walmart, Chris? Like this is multiple times at Walmart? Or
well, okay. I don't know if specifically Walmart, but Walmart adjacent stores, maybe a Target slipped in there.
Fair enough. Retail. That's the answer. Yeah, that makes sense. So anything else, Chris? Like any anything new, like new hobbies you picked up during the time? Like, I know a lot of people try to learn new things or anything like that.
This was the year I finally upgraded my computer.
Oh, what you end up going with at the end? Or in the end?
I don't remember. I ended up getting I didn't buy it when I first built the whole computer, but the card I eventually got was a 1660.
Nice.
Which I ended up getting for super cheap, and has been running great. And, it was because I had that old A10 processor on my old computer that was holding me back. That was just
right. Did you have an APU?
Ancient, horrible Yeah, it was an APU processor. Yeah, great at the time when I bought it, like 8 years ago or whatever it was. But yeah, that desperately needed an upgrade. But upgrading a processor means upgrading everything else, pretty much. So.
I used to sell refurbished like eBay computers and stuff, and whenever we got one of those with an APU like a laptop, we had to decide, one, if we're gonna throw it away immediately, or two, how late it was to see like if we're gonna waste the time to see if it actually runs something. Because those things, all the calls I got were like, "Hey, yeah, I bought this computer from you, and I tried to play X whatever game it is, and it just keeps breaking." I'm like, "Oh, you have an APU?" Yeah, I was like, "Yeah, you should probably get a different computer." They're like, "Oh, okay." Just weird stuff. I'm sure the newer ones work better, but man, back in the day, those were just garbage for a while. So yeah, that's a good upgrade though. I have the 1660 in my girlfriend's PC, like when I built hers earlier this year too, and like that thing is crazy. That thing's powerful.
Yeah.
Did you upgrade your CPU too, or just the?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what CPU I got. It's a good one.
Better be the 10th gen.
I don't remember what it is. I can probably look.
All good. Bear with me. Just getting rid of something that shouldn't be there and putting the alerts back on top. And then thanks Twice Translated for subscribing. That's really awesome of you.
Thank you very much.
And as he goes through that, I'll let Chris figure out his CPU. But Austin, how about you, man? I'm sure you got lots of crazy stuff happening there.
Oh man, yeah. We had a lot of plans this year. Me and my wife, and a lot of those got sidetracked with the pandemic. It started off pretty lovely because I got to work from home, which was great. All the restaurants were just like doing takeout, coming into the 21st century of talk to each other as little as possible, do everything online. It's just like, yes, I'm an introvert, so that was I was living the dream. And a few months ago, I just kind of started to get really stir crazy, where it was like all my trips were canceled, and I couldn't take, like, all my vacation was just stacking up, and I had to burn through all my vacation this year. So I'm currently on like a month-long vacation. Like I'm not going to work this month. I'm just chilling, doing nothing. which is it's nice, but also it's like, man, I wish I was going somewhere. Like we had some trips planned that I was really excited about, but
not willing to.
I'm no longer getting to work from home fully anymore. So now it's half of the week I work from the office, which is stupid because nobody on my team is in the office. So I'm the only person who's there, and I'm required to be there for some reason. It's very bizarre.
They just singled you out, or what the heck? That's weird.
Everyone else got an exception where it's like, I have to take care of kids or old people or blah, blah, blah. And it's like, nobody in my family is too old to take care of, and I don't have kids yet. So,
fair enough.
Anyways, yeah. But work's gotten really busy this year. It's gotten kind of crazy despite working from home and not having to... Whoa, Pseudo Shadow, thank you very much for the donation. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. One of our biggest supporters. Like, despite working from home and not having to drive an hour each way to and from work, I was finding myself working even more than I was before. And so I guess part of that is working from home. I'm not as drained from doing the driving, but just, man, things have gotten super busy this year. But I'm lucky to be where I'm at, you know. I'm not struggling financially during all this, which I know a lot of people can't say that, which is it really sucks. Yeah. So when my biggest complaint is I had to cancel my vacation, like I'm in a pretty good spot. I'm very, very appreciative of that. I used the extra time and being here all the time to get some stuff like fixed around the house that I've been putting off for a long time. Got my fence fixed up. I got some projects done here.
You fixed the fence yourself?
Cleaned some stuff that.
Oh, okay.
No,
I was like, God dang.
my neighbor like tore a hole in the fence, and so he was going to fix that. And the guy came out and was like, "Do you need anything else fixed?" And the guy on this side, I know, he has no money, so he was never going to pay for any sort of repairs on his side. So I was just like, let's just go ahead and get that
fixed up. He's not watching the stream, dang.
Oh, don't worry.
He's like, not. That son of a bitch. I'll come over there tomorrow.
But yeah, I've also been getting to spend more time with my wife and with my dogs, which has been good. I think they've gotten really used to just having me around all the time. So
yeah, that's awesome, man. One thing you said on earlier there, just like that idea of people not having enough money, and I completely agree. It's kind of unfortunate it happened this year, an election year, because I think, and not gonna go too deep, but it felt very much like it was a political move not to send a second stimulus and all the rest of them, because that would have helped people. But they wanted to be the one to do it. It's just a weird thing there. So, it's very telling. Like, again, won't get too deep because we don't want to bring down the mood. But at the same time, it's important to keep in mind like what happened this year outside of that. So, but yeah, that's awesome. And I'm glad you didn't risk getting on a plane because people were fighting. People were like ripping people's masks off. Like it was insane. So you would have been one of the people that probably wouldn't have had that issue. But still, it's very. I don't feel safe like trying to get on a plane or anything like that at this point. So definitely. But with that said, I know all of us like TVs and movies. What do you guys have been watching this year so far? What have you been getting into? I know for myself, I started watching that Hill House, Haunting of Hill House, and that was like super good.
It's a great show,
I was impressed. Like they got, I don't know what Netflix did this year, but similar to Nintendo, there was like, here's all the stuff we have left over in case you want to watch something. They had like so much good shit this year. It was crazy. But that Hill House was my jam so far, I think, this year to get through a lot of the year here. So.
And both seasons are really good too.
Yeah, I've watched the new one, the Bly House. Is that the Bly Mansion? Is that the one? Yeah. I haven't gotten through that one yet, but I started the first episode. Now it's like, British people, wait a second, and I slowed down a bit.
Some of the accents are a little iffy, but
I guess they could for the be most from part, Louisiana, but I can't tell. How about you, Chris? Any other shows or anything you've been like into media-wise outside of video games this year?
We've been, me and Austin and our other friend Blake, we've been working through Twin Peaks.
Ooh.
We're getting up on the end of season 3 here pretty soon.
Yep. It's been a wild ride.
How many seasons are there, by the way? I've always wanted to watch
3 seasons.
3 seasons total. Gotcha.
3 seasons in a movie.
And are they doing a remake as well, or like a new season, or was that the movie they ended up doing?
They did a new season. There was the first 2 seasons happened.
Okay.
Were in the early 90s, and then there was the movie that was in the early 90s as well.
Gotcha.
And then there was season 3, which was in 2017 on Showtime.
Gotcha. Understood.
And that was the most recent, and as of now, supposedly the last bit of Twin Peaks. So
they get the original actors back for the last season.
They did. Almost every single original actor all signed on.
Gotcha.
The only ones who didn't were dead or old and sick and didn't want to do it, or had some other there was 1 or 2 people that had conflicts that didn't show up. But
gotcha.
For the most part, pretty much everybody did, and it's an amazing season of TV show, especially this last season.
Yeah.
It's been a wild ride. Convincing them to watch Twin Peaks in the first place took a lot. Because I was like, this is a big investment of time, because there's a lot of episodes to watch. And a lot of it's not very good.
Is there another
when
show
it's good, it's great.
In that in the Twin Peaks universe out there? Because I could have sworn on Netflix I saw something with a similar name, but I was like, is that Twin Peaks related? And I just kind of kept going because I wasn't sure. But is there another thing in that universe, or just Twin Peaks?
So the movie was called Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, which might have been what it was, because I know that was on Netflix for a while.
Gotcha. Yeah, that must have been it. That's really interesting, actually, because I don't even know what that show is. I thought it was X-Files at first, and I started watching, and I was like, oh, this is supposed to be like that game Deadly Premonition, right? And I was like, okay, well, now I'm not going to watch it because I don't know what's going on. so
yeah, the game Deadly Premonition is basically Twin Peaks with enough change to avoid a lawsuit.
Gotcha. That makes sense. And then Austin, what about you, buddy? I know you watch lots of stuff.
Oh, yeah. I finally started watching Schitt's Creek this year. Apparently at the same time as everybody else, because as soon as I started watching it, I started seeing everyone posting GIFs from it and stuff like that. Hey, thank you for the bit, Pseudo. Everyone had been telling me to watch The Boys, and I was just like, that sounds stupid. I don't want to watch that. And I finally watched it, and it's really good. I binged through 2 seasons of that.
I was pushing for you to watch that for a while. I was glad you finally did.
Oh, yeah.
Both of y'all were, and like a bunch of other people also, and yeah, that's so great recommendation. Like I can't recommend that enough. What a great show. Yeah, I did Haunting of Bly Manor. We've been doing Twin Peaks. I'm trying to think, what else have I watched new this year? I watched a show called Episodes. It's that Matt LeBlanc show.
I avoided that like the plague,
Showtime.
Man. I wasn't sure.
That first season is a tough watch, but it's almost like a pilot episode for the rest of the series, which is actually a bit more enjoyable. But it's a weird show. I just finished that up like last night.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Weird show.
Doesn't he have like another show on Netflix now, like Man of the House or something like that? There's some like weird, similar, like, you know, everybody has a family show suddenly. It's kind of what I saw. Like
the Big Show got a family show on Netflix.
Yeah, the Big Show, and I think
Big Show,
and they have a crossover show between him like Gabriel Iglesias or something. I was like, what's going on?
Oh, dude, I saw an ad for the Gabriel Iglesias show today. It's like he's a high school teacher. He's trying to like teach these kids.
It's really weird. I've actually been watching through it. It's you know, hopefully he never sees this, but it's what I consider like trash TV. You know, stuff that's just in the background you're watching, and then you come back, you're like, haha, you're just like kind of doing something else. Like that, and like all the shows on CW essentially are what I consider that kind of trash TV level of just turn it on, something's going on in that show, and I'm like, I didn't miss any plot. I've missed like 3 episodes. Nice, you know, it's very good, but it's pretty funny. Whenever he makes a joke, it's funny. All of the supporting cast is kind of weak, but you know, what are you gonna get out of a sitcom? So good stuff, man. That's this year's been good for media. Like movies, not so much, but you know, gonna happen when no one's going to the movies. But I think the streaming channels definitely stepped up with that there. So with that said, moving on, we're gonna talk a little bit about the Bombchu favorite moments. You know, our channel. We saw a lot of growth this year because everyone really, you know, liked our stuff. They enjoyed it. We did a major change, and I think it went off pretty well because I know Austin, you know, we were expecting a lot of big things. You know, Chris stepped up, and then I took over editing this year. So for the most part, we made a brand new version of the Humble, bundle stuff as we went forward with the reviews. And we made 12 of them, guys. Like 12 of them, all consistent within hopefully about a week of when they came out. Like pretty quick around there.
I think we did 14.
Oh yeah, hey, we did even more
yeah.
than that. You're right.
December had a monthly and a choice last year, and then I guess last month we had the anniversary video as well for the initial Humble review or the initial Humble monthly bundle.
Dang,
so 14, yeah, 14.
And honestly, I think I'm not one of those people that says like this is the best videos ever, but they were good. Like they did really well, and I think even just from my own like artistic piece and like my creativity, like a lot of the reason why the news did disappear before, just here's a little insider secret, is because I felt creatively bankrupt after a while. Like I was just like, I'm making the same thing, and so being able to kind of just do some more edits, do a bit more on that side really helped this year, like push through. I was surprised when I saw December again for the bundle last month. I was like, oh, what the heck? Yeah, this is awesome. So I think it went really well, and I have to say my favorite moment from all of our videos and all the stuff we've done so far there's a favorite Bombchu moment period, but that's from something Austin did a long time ago. He's eating like the oranges, really creepy, in the Game Groups video. Like that's my favorite moment. But for this year, I think my favorite editing that I ended up doing was honestly just the putting together the Terminator piece, because Austin did it perfectly. And just so you guys know, Austin does the script and then he gives it to me. He says, "Figure it out." Not exactly like that. He's like, "Figure it out," and then I just go, "Okay, I'll make something out of it." And so we end up combining and collaborating that way to make something out of it. So all those together, I used After Effects, I used Photoshop, I pulled images from the movie, I did all kinds of crazy shit just to get that 3-second Terminator bit in there, and I was very happy how it turned out. So that's my favorite moment right now, just because I know how much went into like making that little bit, but it was just very fun to go and grab stuff straight out the movie and be like, let me take your eye, Arnold, let me put it in this little girl, and now we're good. So that's definitely, probably my favorite currently, and I'm sure you guys have some as well. If you don't, that's okay. But how about you, Chris or Austin, whoever wants to go first there on those?
Just related to yours, I'm going to jump in. Sorry, Chris. That October bundle in general was, I think, we were talking about it in a side chat where it was just like, this month we really just did. We were all really proud of that video, and it was just like, it just took a really lackluster bundle to really bring out our creative side.
Got to do something.
But so like before this year, I used to edit the Humble monthly reviews. So and that was just a big giant pain in the butt. I would come off of doing a stream, I'd write a script, I'd record the script, and then I'd be super fried and go editing for a few hours of just like hardcore, like not in a good state of mind. And so Andron's brought a lot of really good creativity to the editing side, and I've been really happy to see that, especially with Chris taking on half of the bundle games. Like, we're getting to get some extra perspective for stuff that there's a lot of games that show up in a lot of months where Chris is just like, I know you're gonna hate this one, so I'm gonna take care of that one
slide
for
on
you.
in here into the simulation genre over here. I'll take all these.
Yeah. And so it took some time to kind of get used to not being in the editor's seat of just being like, well, like I would have an idea in my head and be like, well, I don't know how to explain that. And I finally hit a point where I realized Andron really knows how to edit, and he's got creativity on that side. So I can just do something while I'm writing the script. I can have an idea for something. I don't have to fill out all the details, and I can just let him kind of run with it and see what happens. So when I did that Terminator joke, I did the line like it was, and I just kind of said to Mike, like, hey, Andron, it's Terminator. Like, if you can't find anything, just cut it out. But if you find something that works, and he never cuts any of those lines. He will always find something to work for it. Yeah. And so he doesn't show me what it's going to be ahead of time, so I always get surprised when the video comes out. I'm just like, this is perfect. I love it. But that whole October video was I think outside of videos, like our Discord has changed. Like, if you ever look at our Discord a year apart, it's a very different place every time, just because of the people who are there and how they are interacting with each other. We get a lot of characters in our Discord that come and go and come back. And, so it's been interesting to watch that grow. We got a lot of developer comments this year, where
they didn't care about
especially
us before,
on like the Humble Originals.
It's really cool.
Yeah, so like it's cool to see a developer come out and just be like, "Hey, I'm glad you liked the game." It's just like, "Oh, cool! Like you noticed us. That's like, awesome."
2 of the Fatakai developers follow me on Twitter now.
There you go.
So
I did not know it.
I was like, "Oh,
that's awesome."
Okay.
Yeah. We got some dumb comments with those as well. Like not from developers, but we've had some like an increase in just like really stupid comments on YouTube. A lot of comments are really nice and very positive, or just like valid criticisms. But every once in a while, we just get something that's like, "What is this guy smoking?" So we've seen a rise in that, and I know people in the Discord like to
jokes.
Screenshot those and find them.
Yeah, that one guy definitely gave us a nice running joke for a bit, so I'm really happy. It's very interesting. Something, before Chris, you go, I wanted to shout out, because I know this was another change this year, but I think Squash started taking on our Twitter, really helping us, on that side. So thank you, Squash, just for that. If you're not watching, whatever, definitely shout out
Squash Pickle.
And he's helped us quite a bit, and he helped get the word out for this video as well, on that. So it's nice to have other partners, with that kind of skill set there, that I can rely on. It's very managing 50 people right now. It's very hard to find reliable people. That's the only thing I'll say for my full time. So it's nice to find people that I can say, "Hey, get this done," and then they get it done without minimal effort, for sure there. So Chris, sorry about that for interruption. Just want to give a shout out there. So go for it, buddy.
I would say Austin kind of touched on this, but having Andron as the full-time editor frees up so much more of my thought process and like the writing process for any of the work I'm doing on the videos. I could just focus on saying what I want to say, how I want to say it, trying to be funny when I need to be funny, and just knowing like Andron's going to get it. Like whatever it is I'm trying to do, he'll get it, and it'll come out great, if not better than I had thought it could have been.
I've laughed my ass off when you said, "Thanks, Fantasy Blacksmith."
And I'd say favorite moment was probably when the Spock subscription.
Oh yeah.
The first time I saw that, I had no idea it was coming, and I died. That was the best.
I forgot I did that actually, like a while back.
Yeah.
I don't even know. And again, just I guess every creator is a little bit crazy or something like that. So whenever you guys give me that stuff, like literally something pops in my head, I'm just like, I should do this, and no reason behind it, just I'm gonna go do this. I want to use Star Trek, and I go and search for something so I can use Star Trek. Like I don't stop till I'm like, I'm getting Star Trek in here. Like the Dexter's Lab thing as well. Like literally, I was just like, it kind of sounds like the omelet do fromage. I want to make that happen, and I just went out and found it and forced it to happen, even though it probably shouldn't work. So, it's easy when you have good talent. It's the best way to put it. So like if all of our stuff was garbage coming from you guys, I couldn't do as well as I do to make sure that we all go together. So, little circle jerk we're doing here, but at the end of the day, you guys are doing a great job, and that's why I can do my job that much better, is because you guys are doing great, and everyone involved is doing their job well. So, good stuff, man. All right. So with that, go ahead. You had another moment or another thought?
You gave a shout out to Squash Pickle. That reminds me, I got to give a shout out to Toby and Lime for moderating our Discord, because I'm an old man who doesn't understand new social technologies, and so they help me with that. And I also get busy a lot with work, so or with just life around here, so they keep things running pretty smoothly there. Toby says he's just here to make puns, but those puns brighten my day, so thank you, Toby.
That's awesome. All right. So with that, we're going to move on ahead, and of course, we'll fans are always the people that we really thank the most for giving us a way to do what we love, because I've been playing video games since I was 5 now. So I mean, that's 20 something odd years, 2 decades of video games, almost 3 now. So I mean, that's pretty legit stuff, and it's nice to be able to just put something up about video games and keep going with that. So speaking of video games, because I'm the king of segues, we're not having a game of the year this year, kind of like we talked about earlier. We're not doing that. We get a lot of views, honestly, but we can't really talk about it as much as we want. Like, we don't get to talk about the games and what we liked about them, or like anything. We have to restrict ourselves. So this next little section, we're just going to talk about a bit about the games we played this year, we liked this year, we got into this year. So I have some video clips for these games, not all of them, so you may see a little video pop up there if that translates right to the stream. So basically up there will be some videos for a couple of games we talk about, but not all of them, just because I don't know what all we're going to discuss now. So with that said, we're just going to talk about our favorite games of the year and what we hated, what we didn't like, and you can also throw in gaming news, whatever heck else you want about the year of gaming, because it's been surprisingly good for what was going on in the world. Of course, Animal Crossing kicked off the whole year, and then from then on, it was just kind of like, here's more games that are really good. So a recent release, which I'll talk about first, since I did finally finish it recently, was Yakuza 7, Like a Dragon. That was probably my RPG of the year, because there were not a lot of other RPGs this year, honestly. So I mean, I just liked everything about it. I don't know if you guys, I know you guys are starting to get the Yakuza games, so I know you're starting to like trickle into it, and I finished Yakuza 6, I finished 5, and then I learned about 0, 2, and 3 and all that stuff on a PC, but then I got this one, and it's just like a whole different beast. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but like, it's just a different game. It gets boring at times, like all the Yakuza games, in my opinion. Like, there's a point where it feels grindy after a while. Like, I don't know if you guys get that, but it starts getting grindy, but this one really played into a lot of his strengths, but then it kind of held back a bit on the Dragon Quest stuff. So I know neither of you, I don't think either of you played it, right? Or you planning to get it anytime soon?
I'm planning to get it
eventually.
at some point, but now that they've announced, now that they've announced 3 through 6 are coming to PC, it's just like, wait. By the time I'm done with those, Yakuza 7's gonna be getting remastered.
A remaster into like 8K or whatever at that point. But yeah, the story though is kind of weird, because like Kiryu's stories are like, even though he has the silly crap, like a lot of it's really gritty, what like I think a lot of Japanese people call it hard boiled, I guess, that kind of like detective kind of feel there. And so this game was a lot lighter, and I think it's because they made Judgment in between, and so like Judgment influenced their story a lot in here somehow, if that makes sense. So when you play it, that'll make more sense, but definitely like Judgment seems to be what they're aiming for moving forward. I don't know. So it's very much like a different theme almost, in my opinion. So RPG wise though, it's definitely like one of my favorite games this year. It's not a Persona 5 Royale, but I've played that too many times already at this point. So that's like my most recent game, and I did beat it. Austin, what about you, man? Anything you've been playing recently, or one of your games that you really enjoyed this year?
Ooh, man, I've got a list, but I guess let me stick with some just a couple here. Ghost Runner I played through, and I a lot of times I'll start a game and it'll take me a while to really. I'll play the first chunk and then put it down and come back to it later. And Ghost Runner, I had a lot of fun with. I had. It's really challenging, but it's very engaging and really cool. And it's got whenever you die, you can instantly restart. It's got that just keep going, so you can just retry it as fast as you want to. And it's a good length. It's just like it was. Man, I had a really good time playing it. I challenged myself to beat it without using any of the powers. Damn. And I had a pretty good time doing it. There were certain times that I was really raging, but anytime I finished one of those sections, it was just like, yes.
Is it more platform or more combat-y? Because everything I've seen has been like a lot of speedrun stuff, so I don't know if this was more about like the combat or the platforming at the end of the day.
It's a mixture of both, honestly. Most of what's going to kill you is going to be the combat, but there's platforming sections between, and a lot of times you'll have to use platforming to like get around your enemies, because they'll have attacks that you'll have to dodge or whatever. And there's some levels are actually just pure platforming, which kind of threw me off. But I mean, at the very least, it's pretty good platforming. So I did play a lot of Pixel Junk Monsters Ultimate this year, which I didn't expect to ever play a ton of. But it's a tower defense game. It's co-op. I've been playing it with Pseudo Shadow. Nice. I do the video game club with him and Mox, and you'll build out towers on these trees, and you can like stand on them to dance and upgrade them. But they'll also get upgraded by like killing things. And so we were doing we're trying to do like perfect runs where we don't lose any health at all. Like nothing gets to our main base. And it's been really tough. We had a level where a volcano will randomly destroy one of your towers between each wave. And it's just like, it's always the tower that you
That's screwed up.
It's really good though. Like it's old, it's kind of janky, but it's really fun. Like, so I was glad he suggested that to me.
How old is that game? Because I could have sworn I heard of like Pixel Junk like 10 years ago. Maybe I'm misremembering.
Yeah, it's probably about that age. I think it was like hot on the PS3. But yeah, it got a sequel that is apparently not very good. But and I'll pick one more off my list. I discovered Panel de Pon or Tetris Attack.
I could not find a good video for that one, so
that's okay. That's okay. It got added to the Nintendo Switch, like the SNES Online on Switch, and it's so addictive. If you've ever played Pokemon Puzzle League or any of the Puzzle League games, it's basically the predecessor to that. You have colored tiles that you can move left and right, and you try to make either a horizontal or vertical stack of 3 or more. Yeah. And it's if you do more, then you do a combo, and you're supposed to like combo things into each other to attack your opponent. And it turns out my wife had played Pokemon Puzzle League when she was a kid, and she loved that game. And so we got pretty competitive with it, but like we were just pretty much, it was like any match was like a 50-50. It was going to be her or me who's going to win. So it's just really good competition, but she doesn't like losing. So if I won, it was just like, okay, if she doesn't get the next one, like, oh man, I don't know if we're going to get to play again this week, but very
well. And that game is definitely like that was the original DS Tetris Attack, or is that like even before that? Super Nintendo. Shit, when I was looking for it, I saw like DS and was like, I can't find any good DS videos. There's no way. And then I didn't notice it was like way back when. So it's like 94, maybe 95. Okay,
something like that. Yeah. So the original version in Japan was like Fairy Girls, and then when they brought it to the US, they called it Tetris Attack and swapped it to Yoshi characters. And when they put it on the Switch online service, they don't have the rights to the Tetris name anymore, so they just use the Panel de Pon Japanese version.
That's pretty clever. That sounds fun. I know you're a big puzzle guy, so I was not surprised to see that on the list. I was like, yep, that's Austin. Chris, what about you, man?
I guess most recently, other than Cyberpunk, I dumped a lot of time into Apex Legends again this year. After because I had stopped playing that game back in its first season, I think. Maybe early into the second season.
Dang, yeah.
And then they're currently on I think this is the 7th or 8th season. But the game just recently came to Steam, so I was like, oh, it's a good time for me to jump back into Apex Legends, check it out again, see if it's still as fun as it was then.
Yeah.
And I'm currently almost 100 hours into Apex Legends already, so yeah, I've been playing a lot of that game.
There you go.
Did you finish out the Battle Pass?
I'm close. I did not get all the way through on the Battle Pass on that one.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, speaking of which, what do you guys think of this move to like seasons and Battle Passes? Like, I'm starting to.
There's a lot.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, you're paying however much per season for the Battle Pass. I'm guessing, unless it's like subscription, but. When I used to play Dota, it was kind of like, oh my god, Battle Pass is back, back in the day. And I was like, yes, something to do. But it seems like that's becoming the norm versus having just like DLC at this point. It just feels a little odd to rebrand it, but still, you know, DLC. It's just like for that persistent game kind of thing. Any like hot takes on it? Because I've been thinking about it. I just was like, man, I don't understand if that's just like the new fad, or if it's something that's going to become stupid, and then we're going to be like, okay now with, you know, just games that are like, here's this season 1, there's nothing in it, but you have to get the battle pass, now there's a bunch of stuff in it, you know, and that'll be the game from then on. So any thoughts on that? Like I know we covered that on what was that, the pirate game? I forgot the name now.
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves, yeah. When they got that, that's exactly what went through my head. I was like, why the hell do they get one suddenly? Like, I couldn't understand why they were doing it.
I'll pay for like one battle pass at a time if it's a paid battle pass, because if I pay for it, I definitely want to try to make sure I get at least as close to maxing it out, if not just maxing it out every time. Yeah. Just to feel like I really get my money's worth out of it. But like, I'll play multiple games that have free battle passes in them. I just won't. Like, if I get it, it'll be cool. If not, I'm not too worried about it usually.
And so, I guess that's something I haven't bumped into, is that idea of a free battle pass. Because like Dota, you had to pay for, you know, the $20 to get the compendium or whatever. Then you got the battle pass. So, since you guys have dealt with that, like, how do the free battle passes work? You know, versus the I guess if they're paid or whatever, on that.
So, just in terms of stuff that like you and I have played, like Gears 5, for example, has that's what I would call a free battle pass that they do, where you would have to like they would have like the daily and weekly missions to earn stars that you could level up, and like and you would get cosmetics out of it. But so I liked that it wasn't a paid thing, but it was also super grindy. Halo Master Chief Collection has something like that as well, and theirs is really interesting because you can actually earn like whatever it is that you use to unlock stuff from a season. You can unlock stuff from previous seasons that have already passed. So it's like, well, I'm not interested in what's in this season. I'm going to go unlock something from the previous season that I missed. And it's like, that's pretty cool. It's not just gone forever. Fall Guys has a free battle pass. Fall Guys is free battle pass, really I've enjoyed. Yeah, and a lot of games, what they'll do is a hybrid system where it's just a battle pass, and there's free rewards, and then there's below that there's like, here's some premium rewards, and usually when you get the premium one, you'll get levels faster or something like that. And when it's just cosmetics, it's like, I think it's a good way to monetize a game that's going as a service. I think if you're doing a paid battle pass, it should not take me like hundreds of hours to max out a season. Some games, it really feels like work. Rocket League Season 1 felt like work to max out. And I maxed it out, but it was like having a job.
That sounds bad.
But they adjusted that as they went, and like now, if you have a paid battle pass on Rocket Pass, it's just like, it's really easy to max out. And what's really nice is battle passes that give you currency so you can get the next season for free. I think that's
what Apex Legends does with theirs. If you reach a certain level, you'll be able to buy the next one for free.
Gotcha.
So ostensibly you buy into it once.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, assuming that and so just like Chris, that's one of the reasons why I only buy a battle pass if I'm planning to max out a season. Yeah. And holy moly, I maxed out that first season of Apex Legends. I hit level 110, which was awful to do because that took so much to do. And I bought that next battle pass, and all my friends quit the game, and it was just like, I guess I'm never buying a battle pass on Apex Legends again.
Well, at least you look cool at the end. I guess the answer.
Yeah, I did. I have a transforming Havoc rifle, so
watch out.
That makes sense. So I guess they're just like pulling out the in-game progression systems of something like a Gears 3, like back in the day, and they're just putting it into, now you either pay for it or it's a seasonal kind of thing. Because I mean,
and you never finish. Like, it's just something they can keep.
So I remember in Gears 3, like, we played that for literally thousands of hours, I'm pretty sure, and we re-up that damn thing like at least 2 or 3 times each, and that was fun, but that's all we were playing for that period of time. Like, it was like, this is our multiplayer game, this is what we're playing, and then, you know, it made sense to do that. But since so many are saying, well, you can play this game forever, you can play that game forever, you can play that game forever, and also we all have battle passes, so
it's then you have too many games that you're trying to take all your time.
I mean, that's ultimately what I think I hear when I hear, oh, we're also getting a battle pass. Like, well, I'm not going to pay for that because I don't play your game anymore. It's kind of a tough thing. Interesting. Okay. So sorry, Chris, got off on a tangent there. I was just thinking about it because you mentioned that Battle Pass piece. But yeah, it's such a weird industry, man. They find little baby things to be like, yeah, people like, clothes. Let's put it behind this money thing. So it's very much... It's tough to be a gamer some days. I guess that's really the answer there.
Then they just grind the system down to a nub, trying to bleed every last penny out of it until you get the Avengers, and then your whole company just dies.
Hey, there's a battle pass for each character.
Hope you like buying all those battle passes. There's a battle pass for each individual character.
They lost their minds on that one, man.
Hey, you know what?
Someone did have that. Cool. So I guess my next game, which I don't have a video for, it's a game I've been playing for forever at this point. I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV since launch, and I still have been playing it. I quit 3 times already, and I keep coming back. So that's that's part of my addiction there. So this year they did some weird stuff because actually they had to figure out development, everywhere. They were like, okay, well, we develop in Japan, and now we can't be together as a small country. How the heck are we going to do this? And they found a way to still add life to that game. It's very much it's crazy how much they've kept that game on top and then still improved it over time. While they watch WoW, and no offense to WoW players, but they watched WoW Shadowlands launch and went, what are we doing, guys? I don't know what's going on. So it's very much very cool to keep being able to keep playing that game. So that helped me a lot, and now I finally have enough money to get one of the large houses, but there's no large houses available. So that's my my deal with that piece in that game at this point. But that was my other game I guess I played this year. And then of course I'm an RPG guy, so Persona 5 Royale. Before you say I'm addicted, so basically I got it. Was that this year or last year? I don't remember. I got it one of these years, and if it was this year, then I definitely put it in February. It was this year. I remember now. So I put in 200 hours into Persona 5. I put in 300 hours into Persona 5 Royale, and I have all the platinum. So no matter what's going on in that game, I guess that technically is still my game of the year somehow. No matter all this stuff coming out, Cyberpunk's close. It's really good, but I won't talk about it too much here. But Persona 5 Royale somehow still got that extra time out of me, and one of the big themes about Persona, I'm sure you guys will bump into it as if you try to complete one of the games, is they find a way to blend their gameplay into the themes of their story. So a lot of the gameplay is focused around the freedom, because a lot of this rebellion against natural order, all this, so all their gameplay is very much around how much freedom do you actually have. So Persona 5 did a big piece where they took away time from you. So you're okay, well, all this freedom, okay, you just did a story event, you just lost 10 days. And it's whoa, but I wanted to do maxing this one and that one. No. That's an illusion of freedom. Fuck you. So they kind of did that on that game. Persona 5 Royale does the opposite, where they give you more days, because it's the definitive edition, whatever you want to call it, and they give that bigger sense of rebelling against that order from their first game. So it's a very weird thematic gameplay they added in, and then also the extra content, and then also extra bosses. It still felt grindy because it's an RPG, but I love them, so I'm addicted. What can I say? If they do Persona 5 Royale Ultimate Edition next year, there goes another 400 hours of my life, so we'll see. Don't have a video of that because that kind of popped in my head earlier when I was sitting down. I was like, yeah, I played that this year. That was pretty good. Did Iceborne come out this year or last year? Because I remember that was all right, but I think that may have been...
I think it came out this year in January for PC.
Yeah, that's what it was. And that was fun, too. I wish I went further, but so many games started coming out in March. It was just okay, I got to play something, and it's not going to be this, unfortunately, right now. But yeah, that also came out, and of course, I'm a Monster Hunter fan, so that was pretty fun as well there. So, so either of you, any other games you want to discuss? I got plenty of videos for other stuff, so any other games that really hit you hard? I know Fall Guys was on the list. I don't know if you want to talk more about that there, Austin, since that was a big phenomenon.
I can. Tyler's asking if you just finished Persona 5, should you play Royale next, or should you wait?
It adds a lot of stories, and it ties up a lot of stuff, and it also almost makes moments from Persona 5 better. I would wait at least a month, honestly, before doing it, so it settles, and that way you're ready for going into that grind again, because it's very much a you're going right back into the same stuff you've seen. You could skip a lot of it, but at the same time, there's more of it. One thing that I will say is you can get hit 99 in Persona 5 Royale, just drive around the car in the place a lot faster than you can in Persona 5 original. So you can like max level really quick and then not worry about anything. So it's a lot easier to play, I guess, best way to put it. So good question though. All right, and I think you were going to talk about Fall Guys there, Austin.
Chris and I both played Fall Guys together quite a bit. This year. I've got 175 hours clocked in there so far. I've been making sure to max out the seasons. I've been trying to get enough crowns so I can buy whatever stuff I want. It's a fun game to just when I'm just like I've got some time to kill, or I just want to like kill an afternoon while I listen to some music or something like that, or watch a TV show with something mindless on the side. Play some Fall Guys and try to get another crown. Or
is it pretty addictive and like varied, or because I've not played it, I've avoided it because I'm anti-conformist. Not really, I just hate joining the trend. But is it like pretty addictive in general, or?
Yeah,
I'd say so. Like just chasing that 1 in 60 win is really satisfying, especially once you get good at some of the levels. They do keep it varied. About every month or so they do like a major update. So the seasons are 2 months, and halfway into a season they'll do a mid-season update where they'll either add a couple of maps or make changes to existing maps. And so they keep doing this thing where they'll add variations that are basically randomizers that can happen on each level. So the levels don't stay the same. And one of my favorite ones that they've done so far is there's this horrible game called Perfect Match, I think is what it's called. It's a game of memory.
It's a bad Mario Party game.
There's 16 tiles, and they all flash different fruits at you. So you're trying to remember which fruits are where, and then eventually they'll flash a fruit on a screen like, okay, go stand on one of the tiles that has that fruit because the rest of them are going away. It's awful. It's super slow. It's just dreadful. You barely have to pay attention, but you have to pay just enough attention that it sucks. And they added a variation to that where there's a gigantic spinner in the middle that's constantly spinning around really fast. So you're having to deal with that and people trying to grab you while also trying to figure out where all the fruits are. It's just like, what a wonderful little addition they've made. The new season of that, I think, is supposed to start in like 1 or 2 days. Very soon. And so I'm excited for that. I'm hoping one of my issues with that game is once you hit level 40, which is the max level in the season, after that it's just like, well, I'm gonna go earn currency for whatever they put in the store tomorrow, I guess. And so I'm hoping they do something to where you can like keep leveling up after, because like Rocket League, for example, on their battle pass, after you hit max level, you can keep leveling up and get like painted variants of random painted variants and stuff from the season. Or in Apex, you'll keep getting like currency every time you fill up the experience bar. I guess they extended the level cap quite a bit, but that's how it used to work. That would be pretty nice. But I've definitely gotten my money's worth with Fall Guys.
They started doing like the branded costumes that people were so crazy about at the beginning.
Yes, they've got quite a few.
There's a monstrous Sonic costume that is one of my favorites.
Nightmare-inducing.
There's a really good Godzilla.
That's the one I use the most.
Oh, sorry. Did KFC make it in there? Because that's the one I would actually play as all the time. Not yet?
Not yet. I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but they've been doing Untitled Duck Game, or Goose Game, rather, Grease, Hotline Miami, like lots of Devolver stuff. They've got the bullet from Enter the Gungeon,
from My Friend Pedro.
My Friend Pedro.
Dang.
Yeah. I think they're getting ready to do some Cyberpunk crossovers as well.
Makes sense.
But
it's pretty cool. I don't know what it is. Like whenever I see those major, big ones, there was like, oh, we're gonna stream this every single day. I'm like, all right, maybe I shouldn't play this game.
Just don't watch the streams.
I think when it pops to my feed, it's like every YouTuber that I follow, like if they're gaming, they're like, we're playing this game. I'm like, all right, guys, I think I've seen enough of this for now. So, I got to get better at that though. I got to maybe that'll be my New Year's resolution later. Just like play something different. Play something fun. We'll see.
Yeah, I tried to avoid Among Us as much as I could because that was the same thing. It was just like, no, everyone's talking about it. I'm not gonna. And then somebody wanted to play it with me. I was just like, it was the middle of the night. Just like, screw it. And it's been a lot of fun. It's a blast. It's like there's a reason it's popular. I get it. So I just don't watch the videos online.
I watch Donkeys Among Us Sundays.
Oh yes, anything.
Yes,
all the Donkey stuff that he's been doing has been
And can you spot the fakest gamer in the group? Yes.
And then R.I.P. to Among Us Thursdays.
That man's he's a genius, man. When I look at other YouTubers, I look at his channel. I'm like, how does he get 5 minutes and make that much comedy? Like, I'm still baffled by his talent there. So, god dang. One day I'll master that. So sorry about that. Also, so I kind of put you on the spot for Fall Guys, but any other games, man? This year I know you had a good amount that you were like really into.
I finally played all the way through Undertale for the first time. Thank you, Video Game Club. Video Game Club's been great because it's been making me actually go finish games that I start, which is awesome, and play some stuff that I had not been had on my radar. So Undertale came out like 5 years ago or something like that, and it's been on everybody's just like, you have to play this game. I don't know why. Every time I've started it, I loved it, but just never went to go finish it. So really glad that I played through that. So that was a really good time. I've got sitting right behind me.
What you got there?
It's I think it's a 5 LP soundtrack set on vinyl for Undertale. Yeah. So it's what a great soundtrack. I've been listening to that a lot while I play Fall Guys. I've been working through the Yakuza series, so I'm in the middle of Yakuza Kiwami 2. I was like, if I finish this and the next ones aren't announced for PC, I'm getting 7. But now I get to get 3 through 6. Yakuza Kiwami 2 is like, it's a very dense game. There's a lot to do in that game, like a lot. So to where it might kill me. I've managed to avoid learning Mahjong.
Like
in the past few games, like in Yakuza 0, I was like, I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna do everything. And then I hit that point. I was like, I'm gonna do all the side missions. So like that was fine. But Yakuza Kiwami 2 has a side mission that requires you to get this guy out of debt by playing Mahjong. And you have to do it all in one sitting.
Unreal.
And so I'm just like, whenever I hit the point that I'm gonna finish out all my side missions, I have to learn how to play Mahjong.
That, man. I've avoided it every single game. They added shogi to like recent ones, and I've avoided that too, unfortunately. I just was like, already learning this game.
Yeah,
man.
that one. Yeah.
That's awesome, though. And you're enjoying it still? Like, I know you've played through 0, 1. I guess you're halfway through 2 now. Like, you're still enjoying the series so far?
Yeah, I definitely still loving it. They make a lot of interesting changes between 1 and 2, at least in the Kiwami stuff. Like, especially in the combat, like enemies ragdoll really hard. I think it uses the same engine as 6, so I know you've played 6.
If you punch them real hard,
like, I'll punch somebody out and they'll be like, they'll like go floating somewhere else.
To the moon.
Yeah, and they've got a system to where you can like pick up weapons during battle but store them for later, which you couldn't used to do. And it seems like you're really intended to use weapons a lot more in this one than versus previous games. So I'm a good chunk into the game, and I'm still getting used to the combat.
My favorite minigame from that series, which you guys are going to hit later, is around either 4 or 5, I can't remember which one, and no spoilers, but basically, you end up, for some reason, driving a cab, and then you have to race people in that cab. And like actual street racers, and you soup up your cab to race them. It's like the best minigame in the series. Like, hands down, the best minigame in the series when you hit that. There's a story reason why, but I didn't reveal that. So, but yeah, that series is really good. I'm glad it's getting so much recognition in the West, because I only tried it thanks to that PlayStation Now thing. Like, I just did the trial. I was like, Yakuza, let me give it a shot finally, and I was like, I should have played this a long time ago. I should have played this like years ago when it first started coming out, because it's just amazing, storytelling wise. Even graphically, like the series is above a lot of other games, but it never gets talked about in that realm of, like photorealistic faces. Who cares? It's Yakuza. We don't care. I'm like, well, they look better than your characters. At the end of the day. So, sorry. Just love video games, and Yakuza is like one of the definitely becoming like more mainstream, which is weird to say out loud. Actually, yeah. Kind of like Persona's mainstream now, which now I have to go back into my hipster closet.
I think people are getting into games are becoming more mainstream to the point where people aren't just playing like the biggest releases ever. They're starting to like dig into the weirder stuff, where it's like we're getting Fall Guys as like a major hit, and Among Us, and like, so people, anytime I'm like, Yakuza's weird, but I think you'll like it, and they try it out, they're like, this is weird. I do like it.
Trying to get everyone into Advent Rising, wherever that game was back in the day. Let's bring it back that way.
I'm gonna bring that to Game Club at some point.
This
game. For real. No vote this time. We're playing Advent Rising.
Advent Rising HD, or Advent Rising through an emulator. That's pretty good. Anything else, Chris or Austin? Video game-wise, favorite games of the year that you want to discuss?
Well, speaking of Persona, this was the year I finally finished Persona 4 because Golden released on Steam. And like, as in the first like 2 weeks of that game being out, I think I had put like 30 some odd hours into it. And because I had played that game back on when I had a PlayStation 3, and I played Persona 4 it was on a digital store or whatever.
Yeah.
And I really liked it, but I think my PS3 broke or stopped working. So I stopped playing the game and just kind of forgot about it. And then when Golden came to Steam, I was like, oh, this will be the perfect time to get back into this game, and I just fell deep into that game. I think I have like 60 some odd hours on it now.
Nice.
I've only done one full playthrough. I still need to go and play through again and try to get some more of the side missions, more of the S-Link stuff that I'm missing. But yeah, Persona 4 Golden was a lot of fun.
I can't tell you the last time I replayed a game. Now that I think about it, like I always like I want to replay that. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna play something else. Like I haven't had the chance to replay something in a while. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's hard when you're low on time. You got work and all that. It's different when you're a kid. It's just like, I really like Star Fox. I'm gonna play Star Fox.
Sit here and play Final Fantasy IX for the 13th time. Okay, guys.
And I think Humble spoiled me as well, because every month I get like 12 or 13 or 15 new games apparently. So I mean, it's like, here's a bunch of games you need to play now. I'm like, oh, hold on, let me finish this one and I'll get to you. Speaking of which, Misfortune, which I think Chris you really liked.
Yes,
and then
I loved Little Misfortune.
I gave it to my girlfriend Pardon, and she started playing it. I think I was playing like Yakuza, and I was like playing it. I was like glancing over at her. I was like, "What you doing over there? What's all these sounds I'm hearing?" It like that
just
game.
Playing this quirky, weird Swedish game.
Yeah, and it's old. I don't know how old it is, but it's very like well done. I guess I don't know how to put it, but like they did a good job. Like everything that I read up on, like the developers, like they're a pretty small team. They couldn't make their most recent game, but somebody needs to give them some money so they can make their new game. But they also made that game. It was the other Franbo. They made that game too. So it's apparently part of that same universe. Franbo, Bro, and this one is Little Misfortune in the same like galaxy or whatever you want to call it. So it's very weird, and they make some weird games. But I love when indie studios take those chances and they come out with honestly like a really morbid, dark story about like a 10-year-old walking around the city.
It's also incredibly funny.
Yeah, and also extremely funny, and a lot of her sayings got stuck in my head, and I was just saying them around the house just to mess with
Yikes forever.
Yeah. Just a ridiculous thing there, but I'm glad Humble gave that to me, because I would never touch that game outside of that. That was wow.
Yeah, just looking like at screenshots, like when we were even picking out the games for what we were going to do for that month.
I thought that was like, a weak one.
This is something narrative focused, but like, looking at it, I would have never purchased that game. I almost wouldn't want to pick it, but yeah, that game was amazing.
I was even like, thank you, Chris, for picking that one. I don't want to play this one. And ever since he's done that review, I'm like, damn, I need to play that game.
All right, so we'll do one more each. That was my last one. So lightning round. One more game for both of you. If you have one more for this year that you really want to discuss. I know. It's not too many.
I've got 4 to pick from. I know, I had too many. Okay. I'm gonna go with like a really something small. I'm gonna go with Verlet Swing. I don't know if you found footage for that because it was
you doubt your editor.
You couldn't find Tetris Attack. I wasn't sure.
You underestimate my power.
I have to push the button to make it work. But yes, there we go.
Yeah, Verlet Swing kind of like took over the Bombchu Discord for a little bit there, where it was just this. It came out of nowhere. I had no idea about it at all until it showed up in this bundle. And I love when stuff like that happens. Games that I wouldn't have heard of otherwise. It's just like, this game's awesome. It had great music, really cool visuals, obviously Vaporwave inspired, which I've been really into Vaporwave for the last few years and like lo-fi and stuff like that. And it's got this great grappling hook mechanic that just feels really good to use. And everyone in the Bombchu Discord like started getting in competition with each other and talking about like getting their best times and stuff like that. And that was just like a really cool stretch of time on the Discord and for the channel, just like while that was around. And just getting to play it myself.
Yeah,
anyway.
That's really awesome. I didn't get into it too much, but when I watched your video, like as I was doing, I was like, "Dang, this game's crazy!" Like I could not. I don't know how you were playing it, but like I was like, "Man, this game's too technical for me," so I'll back off for now. That's really cool though. Yeah, nice. And I forgot to mention, anybody in the chat, if you wanted to talk about your favorite game in there, we can always bring it up as well. If there's some people in the chat trying to say, what about this game? We can always go back to that there. Okay, Chris, do you think of something, or is Austin get a second go?
I'm glad I remembered it, because I would be remiss if I did not mention Detroit Become Human. I know it came out last year, the year before, but it came to Steam this year. And David Cage finally made a game that doesn't suck. Like, he finally pulled it off. He got a story from point A to point B, and he stumbled a little bit. There's still parts of it that are not great. It's still got David Cage problems. There's one story thread in particular that makes absolutely zero sense and has a twist that comes out of nowhere that invalidates a whole lot of stuff.
Oh no.
But that being said, the game overall is still really good. Like, the writing overall is really good, especially the stuff between Connor, the detective robot, and Hank, the human detective, played by Mr. Krabs. I can never remember the actor.
Mr. Krabs works.
But yeah, played by Mr. Krabs.
Mr. Krabs.
Who played Mr. Krabs.
But yes, Detroit was great. And like I said, I was so proud of David Cage. He finally managed to pull one off, because Heavy Rain was the closest he got before this point, and even then, Heavy Rain's got a lot of problems.
Yeah. Somehow I didn't grab footage for that one, so you can doubt me on that one. Whoops, because that's an easy one. But yeah, I never got into that one. I did play, or I played with someone on Beyond Two Souls, and that was really good.
Yeah.
But again, like you're saying, like the story was still very like, did you tie up everything from before? So I don't think you did. Yeah. There's a lot of loose threads here, so that's awesome. I was really excited for that game when it came out, and I didn't get it. I don't know what was wrong with me. I was just like, I don't want that now.
I can definitely recommend it. It's awesome. Like I said, it's still got some David Cagey problems. Especially when you're tackling such a heavy subject matter. It's obviously somebody with the tact of David Cage isn't gonna have trouble.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's got enough people at his studio at Quantic Dream that are willing and able to tell him no.
There you go.
I think is a major thing that helps. I think he's got the George Lucas problem, where he's got too many wild ideas of, I want to do this and I want to do that, but now I'm going to go do this. It's like, okay, well, no, settle down, finish one of your ideas, let's focus it, and then we can move on to something else.
Yep.
And he's finally reached that point with his studio where he's got that process going.
Someone's telling him, no, bad. It's probably his publisher, more than likely. The publisher.
More than likely. I think it was a lot of, like, Sony taking over and being like, let's tone this down a little bit.
This game's garbage. What are you doing?
Yeah.
All good, man. All right. So, anything in chat to address, Austin, or are we good to move on to the last item here?
I think we are good. We got some love for Detroit in chat, as well as Toby loved Heavy Rain. He wants to go play that.
I like Heavy Rain. I like Heavy Rain.
No, you didn't. So moving on down to our final piece of the night, and then of course we'll end the stream after that. So we're gonna do some New Year's resolutions, and we're gonna say them here because why the heck not? You know, it's been a long, tiring year for a lot of people, and I think moving into 2021, you know, with vaccine on the horizon for multiple companies, hopefully everyone can get one if readily available, and then of course lots more changes coming next year in America and around the world as well. You know, 2021's the year to aim to, you know, not necessarily undo stuff that happened in 2020, but definitely you know, a year to really push it, you know, do what you got to do, you know, have fun, enjoy yourself, and try to make, you know, 2021 better than the year before and keep going. So for myself, one thing, and I did do this yesterday, so I'm gonna keep going with it, is definitely try to, you know, give more of a voice to, like, you know, those channels, those people, those writers, those artists that really, like, make great, amazing content and don't get any recognition for it. Like, don't get as much as, you know, the PewDiePies and the people that really just kind of honestly shit out content that's not very good. So yesterday I kind of supported Game Maker's Toolkit, their recent video on the disability thing, and that's great. That's the kind of stuff we need, because at the end of the day, you know, everyone should be able to play video games. So having someone always make a video just saying, hey, you know, here's where you're screwing up, guys, you know, that kind of reminds the, you know, the industry as a whole, yeah, we should probably do a bit better. We should probably make some changes here, and I don't know how much impact he'll have, or their channel will have, but I think just openly supporting people doing good stuff is far better than just saying, hey, everything sucks, let me go the opposite way. Here's someone doing good stuff, let's like support that a bit. So so throughout next year, you know, my goal is to try to, you know, even for myself outside the channel, just say, hey, guys, go watch this stuff because it's good. You know, go watch these things. Even though they have 5 views, you should probably watch it because they put some hard work into that thing. So so that's my resolution, and my other one is to try to keep being vegetarian. We'll see how long that lasts into this year. But it's been 4 months now, so I'm doing better than I expected at this point. So all right, whoever wants to go next, go ahead and speak up.
Chris, you go first,
I guess. I want to try over the next year trying to be more creative, like have, instead of just having all these ideas of like stuff I could do or stuff I always wanted to do, of like actually doing some of it. You know, like I've had a couple ideas of like movie scripts I've wanted to write and just never really sat down and just wrote something. So just like the idea of like trying to write more stuff, I think, is one of the things I want to try to get out this year.
Nice. And don't forget, man, you got plenty of people that do this kind of, like, write and whatever else along with you. So if you ever need to bounce ideas, man, we're here. Yeah. I guarantee the Discord is someone in there that's like, yeah, I'll help you with that as well. So yeah, man, you have a lot more resources than before. So I think that's a good ass goal. Heck, I want to sell a script now too. Hearing that.
Someday, my dream is to write a Netflix adaptation of I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. I think that story would make for an amazing Netflix limited series of like 13 episodes.
Hey, I bet if you just...
Somebody's just got to write it.
Yeah, just finish it and hand it to them. They'll be like, all right, next year.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's pretty ripe for a series. I think that would... I think, yeah, in terms of just like elevator pitch, I think you've got something good there already.
All right, Austin, you want to go finish us off here?
So I came in with the understanding that we were doing joke resolutions, but
ended up being more serious.
That's not what happened.
But we can always do those too.
My head.
So I'll get my joke resolution out of the way. I have a resolution to get a 3080 someday. We'll see if it happens next year, but if stock will ever appear. I want to clear out more of my backlog. I've been trying to stay on top of my Steam backlog. I've done a pretty good job this year. I've kept it under 500 games left at any given time. Nice. So like whenever something comes in, I'm just like, all right, I gotta clear out some of the garbage games I got from that dollar bundle a long time ago. And I've been buying games less often, less bundles, where it's like, well, I might play that one game for a little while. I'm just like, no, why am I spending money on that? So getting less games, I'm trying to clear out more games, and I donated to a charity bundle that I thought I had a bunch of games from already that I was going to do giveaways for, and it turned out like I got an insane number of games from it, so I just went over 500 again for the first time in months, and I'm well set. But it's a good problem to have. So I've Game Club has helped me bust through some games that have been long on my to-do list, which has been good. And I said this at the beginning of this year. I want to make other videos that are outside of like the bundle reviews, and it was tough this year with the pandemic. Like, you and I couldn't get together. Andron did film some of the stuff that we do, and work just got so busy that, like, even with y'all taking on the other stuff from the bundle, like, I was just drained from work. So I also keep going in with the mentality that it's like I need to make the whole video myself, and I keep forgetting that.
Yep.
No, Andron's a really good editor. He can really make anything happen. And since I've done the editing, I can kind of like go in knowing like, hey, I need to like in terms of how to film and like what pieces I need to get to you. So I want to step that up. I really had a lot of fun. The last thing that I really did outside of the bundles, and it was part of the bundles, but was the little segments at the end of the bundle reviews in 2019. I had such a blast making those. Like, that was some of the most fun that I've had on the channel. So I would like to do some more live action stuff, or just like stuff with my camera that would be really cool to do. So I can't guarantee it's going to happen. Life just keeps getting busier and busier, but that is a resolution for me. I definitely want to make some other stuff.
And sorry about that, man. I completely forgot when I wrote down that note at our meetings. We have meetings. I was like, joke resolution somewhere. So I came here. I was like, hey, this is my big one, baby. Let's do it. So a quick, a lighter resolution is I already started this, but I'm gonna do so many squats that you can bounce penny off my butt. That's the other side of that. So I've already started aiming for like 1,500 squats a week. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be like super butt at the end of next year. So that's my lighter one for that. So Austin doesn't have to give 2. There you go. I also gave 2. Sorry.
All right. I'll have my lighter resolution will be eventually my beard is long enough that next year I will be able to braid it properly.
Ooh, that's pretty good one, actually.
Go for.
You could probably do it now, man.
I can get close. It's not thick enough, but it's long enough, so.
That's what she said. Yeah, did it. And we'll end with that. All right, guys. Well, unless Austin there's anything to chat to address, I think we're good for our first holiday special. Which now that I said that out loud, I was thinking about South Park. So.
We've got some comments about your ass, but I'll let you read those later.
Sounds good. As long as they're nice and juicy comments for me, then I'll make sure it's nice and juicy next year. So we'll see. All right, guys. Well, again, thanks to everybody. It's always fun being able to do this and just talk to people that are like-minded and enjoy it. So this will probably become a regular thing. We may not have the fireplace next year or whatever, but we'll have something similar with some Yuletide gyre, whatever that's called. I can't say words. But anyway, it was fun doing this. And, of course, we're going to have the video up at this time before next Saturday. So, all right. So that's it. Nothing else unless you guys have anything else you'd like to say before we sign off.
Thank you all for watching throughout this year, for being great supporters in the Discord, on our videos, on Twitch. Just while recording stuff, like if you're just here in the chatting, like that's always a huge help. It's nothing more awkward than trying to talk to an audience of 0 when you're recording for 6 hours. It's just real weird. And just the support that you guys give us fuels the flames that make us want to keep doing this. So we really appreciate you guys being there for us throughout this year. So thank you all very much, and thank you, Chris and Andron, for all the work that you guys do
problem,
on the videos.
Yeah. And I would say thank you to especially our YouTube comments for being some of the generally most friendly and welcoming comments that I've seen in a YouTube comment section.
Agreed.
Like we said before, you get the occasional asshole, but for the most part, it's a pretty widespread, just generally nice group of people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the same thing with our Discord server, pretty much everybody over there is pretty cool. So it's, we get our occasional problem people, but for the most part, pretty much no matter what channel you're on the Discord server, there's something there for you. Anybody can jump in and feel right at home.
There you go. All right. Well, with that, and I mimic both of these guys. They said it a lot better than I did. So basically, that's it for this one. 2020 is, going to end here in however many days. And so basically, that'll be our video for this year, and we'll see you next. See you guys.